he was a madman, crazy, delusional, or he knew who he was and he purposely deceived people, or he was who he said he was, right? You can only come to one of those three conclusions. Well, with tonight's subject, there's only three outcomes or conclusions or ways to respond to what we're learning. A, say it isn't true. Okay? But to do this will actually violate your conscience because the evidence is overwhelming. Okay? Or B, you can acknowledge it as true, but decide to ignore it. And according to James 4:17, that would be sin. Okay? Or C, what we all would hopefully do here tonight is to please God by surrendering to His will. Amen? All right, question 11. Who's up?
Where is the beast mark placed on people?
All right, just the answers and notes, guys.
In their right hand or in their forehead?
All right, read your note, please.
The mark is not literal. Remember, we are dealing with symbols. The forehead represents the mind with which we serve God. Romans 7:25. And the hand is a symbol of work. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Those who accept Sunday observance willingly are marked in the forehead. Those who agree to work Sabbath to avoid boycott or death are marked in the hand.
All right. So that is our note for that question. Question 12, who's next?
Do people who now observe Sunday as a holy day have the mark of the beast?
Answer.
13. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that has the mark. Note, no one has the mark of the beast now. No one will be marked until the law forces a person to stop buying and selling, unless he has the mark. When it becomes a major issue, and men are forced to decide for either the mark of God or the mark of the beast, then those who work on Sabbath or observe Sunday as a holy day will be marked. Sabbath breaking, however, even today, is a very serious matter because it involves sin. 1 John 3:4. Those who knowingly profane God's holy day now will lose the ability to think and see clearly, and will end up in darkness. John 12:35.
Mercy. So it's so important to make good decisions. Remember the other night, I was speaking about choices and decisions, and I said life is based upon the more good choices and the better decisions you make, generally the better things are for you, versus the more bad decisions you make tend to make your life spiral downward. Okay? 13. Go ahead.
In these last days, God has commanded His angels to fall back in winds of strife from the earth until something happens to His people. What is that something? Revelation 7:1-3.
And the answer?
Curtain out the earth till we have sealed the servants of God in their forehead.
Okay, and then your note.
God is holding back devastating destruction from the earth until His people receive His seal, sign, or mark, which is His Sabbath. Soon every person on earth will be in one of two groups. God's group with His Sabbath mark, or the beast's group with His counterfeit Sunday mark. The Holy Spirit is working with almost desperation to clearly show people that loyalty to God is involved here, and to impress them to accept God's Sabbath mark, which represents His creative and redemptive power. It is not enough to claim that we serve God. We must also obey Him. Luke chapter 6:46. Winds blowing represents strife, war, and commotion. Jeremiah 49:36-37.
Question 14.
Who will receive God's wrath in the last days? Those who receive the mark of the beast.
Okay. Point blank. And you know?
God's wrath is contained in the 7 last plagues, which we'll study in a soon coming lesson.
Okay. Moving right along. Tests of loyalties. This is what it's about. It's about being loyal to God, right? And not loyal to man. And question 15. Who's next?
How does God decide who it is to serve? Romans 6:16.
Can you answer?
His servants are his servants are his servants ye are to whom ye obey.
Thank you. And you know how?
It says God chooses to save everyone. 1 Timothy 3, 1 Timothy 2 and 4. The devil desperately wants all to be lost. We choose whom we will serve by whom we obey. Joshua 24:15. I obey God and serve Him by accepting this mark. It is not a matter of days, but rather a question of loyalty to Christ or Antichrist, which is another name for peace. God's Sabbath is like a banner or flag. When I obey Him, I step under His Sabbath banner. When I, with my eyes wide open, step under the Sunday banner of the peace, God counts me as a servant of peace.
Okay, so right now, no one has the mark of the beast, but the time is soon coming where all eyes will be wide open and conscious decisions for or against will be made. And we want to make sure again that we make the right choice. Amen?
I want to say something.
Yes.
Satan is a bad leader because a good leader, when you obey him, he supports you. And when you're in danger, he still is with you. But Satan, you obey him. But when you're in danger, he is aloof at you. He says, oh, why did you do it? Why did you obey me? But when you obey God, even if you die, He will resurrect you and give you eternal life. So it's good to believe in a good leader who can be with us in difficult times and who can, at the end, give us what we cannot give ourselves.
Amen. Amen. How many of his kids play follow the leader? Right? So I like your point. We want to follow the right leader because Jesus is a great leader that will be with you through thick and thin. And in case you didn't understand his point clearly, if you choose to follow Satan, as we have at times past, he always will leave you by yourself and then tease you and make fun of you and be like, why did you do that, you fool? You know what I mean? He's the one that talks you into doing it, right? So he's not a very good leader to follow. Very good point. 16, who's up? Okay. Bottom line, there is no gray area. There's no neutral zone. You're either for or you're against. And you show that by your decisions that you make and the choices that you make. And as he pointed out, which leader you choose to follow. Okay? And this is a great controversy that's going on between Christ and Satan. You've got to understand everything we're studying behind the backdrop of the great controversy. That there are two forces battling for your soul, battling for your mind. And you must choose one because the Bible says what? You cannot serve two masters, right? Either you'll love one or you'll hate the other. And what's the problem for many of us is even more so than Satan, we have to battle self as a master. And you can't be the master. You can't call your own shots. You know what I mean? You can't even decide if you're going to wake up or not because you're not in control of that. So how can you call any shots? It's only by His grace and mercy that you wake up and take that breath that you take and go, thank God I'm alive again. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to wake up. And so it's only by His grace. And you're either for Him or against Him, people. Right? That's all it is. There's no two ways about that. 17. Who's up? Go ahead again.
According to Revelation 13:11, 18-14, John saw another beast rise up out of the earth. About that time, the third beast, the time that the beast, the first one, went into captivity. Verse 10. Whom do you think this beast represents?
What is our answer, people? United States of America. Definitely in prophecy, and it is in chapter 13 of Revelation. That's why I made sure that we read that chapter, because right when you get into verse 11, that is the descriptor of the United States. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spake as a dragon. Read your...
No other country except the United States came up from an uninhabited area of the earth. It was lamb-like, peaceful, and docile. And it arose around 1798, when the whole went into captivity. It was in 1776 that America declared her independence. Obviously, government attitude must change before this prophecy can be fulfilled. But since God predicts that it will do so, there's no question about it.
How many have seen the attitude of this government change in 2015? Okay? And what a lot of people don't realize is, like sheep to the slaughter, we fall right into it. All these rights of ours that we're voluntarily giving up to be safe are actually playing right into the hands of the powers that be, that want to put us in a precarious position that we're allowing ourselves to be put in because of bad choices. And just, yes, Eric, do you have one?
A lot of them snuck in without even knowing. Just like that, what I was saying a couple years ago, I think I remember me talking about that NDAA. And that gave the police the right to kill us.
That's right.
And now we're sitting here with that, looking like, oh, how are they doing this? Well, they passed that a couple years ago at 12:44 at night.
Yeah. All kinds of things behind the scenes that are going on. But definitely a big major role will be played. Now, one point I want to bring out here too. Did you read your note? We read the note? Okay. So the point that I want to bring out though is when you look at verse 11, we already determined this is the United States. And notice that it had 2 horns like a lamb, peacefulness, right? Well, those 2 horns represent what our country was originally founded upon, which is what? Religious and civil liberties. One horn is religious liberty, one horn is civil liberty, religious and civil liberties. But if we notice that we said it will do what? Speak as what? A dragon, right? And how do we say a government speaks? Through its laws and legislations. At this time, Lupe, will you pass that paper around to everybody that I gave? Because I'm going to show you how America is going to speak through its laws, along with making this image to the beast, and forcing worship. So we'll wait for everybody to get this in their hand. It gets deep, people. But the evidence is all too clear. Now let me ask you this. I'll do that at another point. Let's get this in our hands. So this is something that is from December 29, 2014. Someone was asking, what are blue laws and how did they come to be? Now what we're about to read are laws that are already existing on our books, which means that we don't have to make it a law, we don't have to go vote on it. All we have to do is just start enforcing it because it's already a law. It's a law that remained dormant. All right, so we're going to find out what are these blue laws, and I'll begin reading. Rooted in the basic Christian tenet that Sunday is to be reserved as the Lord's Day, blue laws were originally enacted across the United States to do what? Encourage church attendance and to restrict what? Only to that worthy, at least according to some, of observation on the Sabbath. So their Sabbath, speaking of Sunday, these rules were in place basically to enforce attendance at church and make sure you're doing the right thing on the holy day. It transformed over time from a religious prescription to simply reflecting the values of a given community. Today, blue laws continue to prohibit otherwise legal activities in many places across the country. The first blue law, although not called that at the time, was enacted when? Where? In Colonial Virginia in what year? 1610. And it mandated, what does mandated mean? Okay, so this is a nation, Virginia's in America, right? So America, speaking through its legislation in 1610, mandated church attendance at what services? Both morning and afternoon. Wouldn't the pastor be happy? Morning and afternoon, right? You can't just come Sabbath, 11 o'clock hour, miss Sabbath school. You can't come Sabbath school and miss the 11 o'clock hour. You had to be at both services. on Sundays. And what happened to the first-time offender? He lost his money and his food, right? Those who committed a second offense, what happened to them? Additional losing allowance of whip. Now, hold on now. In California, we had a thing when I was growing up called the 3 strikes law, right? It didn't matter no matter what your third offense was. You could have took a piece of 5-cent bubble gum. You're done. You're done. Here's your third strike. What happens on the third strike, people? Punished by death. So you only had 3 times to miss church. How many would be killed already? I'm serious. We're laughing, but how many would be killed already? I didn't miss church 3 times. I can guarantee you in my life, right? You couldn't miss church services 3 times. All right? Now, this is our country doing this. Now, the point I want to make in all seriousness, these laws are still on your books. All they have to do is enforce them. They don't have to pass an act of Congress. They don't have to get 50,000 signatures on a piece of paper. All they got to do is say, law is now enforced. Similar to martial law. All they have to do is call it. When I was a kid, we said, I called it. All you have to do is just call it, right? If I called it, that made it so, right? Whatever it was, I called it, right? That means that made it in stone, right? Okay, so, now, a third violation was supposedly punished by death, though there's debate over whether the accounts of the early blue laws were in some cases exaggerated or not. I can guarantee you they were not. They were enforced. Now, in addition to requiring religious observation, now watch this. Blue laws also prohibited unseemly behavior, including drinking and other recreational activities. In fact, and this is factual, one sailor who had returned to Boston in 1656 after 3 years at sea was locked in the stocks for kissing his wife upon his return, which happened to occur on the Sabbath, which would have been Sunday in their point. So you couldn't even kiss publicly. Boy, we all be in trouble. In some places, these draconian laws were extended to cover offensive conduct throughout the week. For example, late 18th century puritanical colony of New Haven, Connecticut regulated the sale and consumption of alcohol, swearing and lying, even playing games like cards. How many are from the South? Still can't get liquor at a certain time of day on Sunday, right? Sometimes you can't even get it at all, right? It's still being enforced. Furthermore, in addition to mandating church attendance, there's that word again, on the Sabbath, those New Havenites who were foolish enough to violate these laws on Sundays supposedly suffered severe penalties, including large fines, being confined in stocks, whipping, amputation, and even death. This is America. During the temperance movement of the 19th century, new life was breathed into the idea of blue laws, and many communities and states enacted laws banning the sale of both tobacco and alcohol, as well as unnecessary labor on Sundays. Some areas even prohibited certain forms of entertainment, including performances. Okay? Now you can read the rest on your own, but you get the gist that basically these laws are still on our books. The last page, I think, gives you blue laws, states that still enforce blue laws in the last year that they actually enforced one. But so we're not far off. It's something that they can do at the drop of a dime. And it would be legal because it is the law. So what they're going to do is similar to what they did there. They're going to make Sunday a law. You're going to have to keep Sunday holy. And there are going to be consequences and repercussions for those and to those that don't.
Could that be why the Pope is coming?
That's a sharp man right there. That's a sharp man. He's been paying attention in class. I would say, amidst many other things, I would definitely think that along with unifying and doing some other things, the wormhole gets deep. It gets deep. But just notice from the little scratches of the surface that we're scratching that we are here. We are in this time. This is why what we're doing tonight is so important, and what we've done for the past 5 weeks and what we'll finish doing next week is so crucial. But here's the biggest part. This is bigger than anything else. Don't keep what you're learning to yourself. You've got to share it with someone else. Remember what we studied about God's true church? They're the people that will do what? Proclaim these 3 angels' message, which tell people to not worship the beast, to not receive his mark or his image, right? And to proclaim the everlasting gospel of Christ. Is that what we've studied? Amen? All right. So make sure we're all on the same page. Now, what I do want to do since we're there, now, here's the thing. Watch this. This is deep. Okay. Those of you who have been around and who have this book, I'm not going to offer it to you tonight because I have limited copies And when I call to order a case, guess what? No longer printing these. You cannot get these anymore. I called the ABC store. She goes, I don't believe it. I go, what, Sandy? She says, it's out of print. We can't get it. I said, okay, well, check your stock and your shelves. Don't you sell like individually? She put me on hold. She came back. She said, we do not have one anywhere in this building. She said, I'm going to check sources. She said, I'm going to check some of the ABC stores. She's not going to find it. You know why? Because we're getting to the point where the Pope is coming, things are about to get into place. Information like this that snatches the rug out from under them, just like they did with the Bible when they banned it, you're not going to be able to get this kind of material. And when you get it reprinted, what's going to happen is going to say something like, oh, well, we put it under a new title, and it's got a new cover, and when you read it, the information is going to be different. And it's not going to be so pointed, and it's going to be more watered down and unified. Okay? It gets deep, people. It's a reason why you can't get
How do
this.
we get one of those?
So what I'm going to do is, if you've been in the church, one thing, if you don't have one, if you have one, please don't take it. If you've only been in the church, let's say 2 years or less, or you're brand new here, I want to give you one. But I only have 12 copies that I can give. So in all honesty, who's 2 years or less in the church that has never seen this book, read it, or don't know it? Well, okay, you can share one? Okay. 2 years or less in the church, you haven't seen it, you've never read this, you don't even know what this book is. Anyone else? If you have one, please don't take one, or if you've read it before. Anyone else? You have one? No? You don't have one? But you don't have one, you never read it. Okay, I have enough, I just didn't want to run out. You don't have one? Okay, who else? Okay. This is a very crucial book. You read this book, it will break down just about everything we've studied in 6 weeks in this one book and make it relative to 2015. Huh? What do you say?
I was asking Heather if she had one.
Okay. All right, now I'm working on getting more, and I'll be honest, I do have.
We can get it out to Amazon.
Amazon has it? Okay. How much are they charging for it? $1.94. Amazon. Get it while you still can find it. What's going to happen is when the copies that exist are gone, that's it. It's going to be
There's
gone.
only 52.
Only 52. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
This is serious. This is real. This is what we're facing. That book is basically letting you know when and how they're going to enforce Sunday worship. And it's something that's definitely going to happen. And here's the crucial point. They are going to be the key player. Okay? Now, I'll tell you like I tell anybody else, you know, steel with all of its problems, definitely still the best place in the world to live in right now, so I'm not knocking our country from that angle, but it will be manipulated and used to participate in forming an image to the beast. Okay, 18.
Yeah, you'll get it wrapped up there.
Yeah, you know what happens? I get wrapped up, man. You guys gotta calm the teacher down. All right, 18. Who's gonna do that one? We're winding down, we're almost done. Go ahead.
What two tragic things does this second beast cause people to do?
Answer.
To worship the first beast and to receive a mark in the hand or forehead.
All right. You read your note.
America will lead out in forcing people to receive the mark of the beast. That magnificent country will soon repudiate religious freedom and will force people into false worship.
Okay. Now, it's going to happen under a good pretense, per se, if you look at it from their angle. What's basically going to be said is, you know, we were a nation founded on God, and we've gone away from God. So what we have to do is get back to God, right? And by getting back to God, the whole nation needs to worship, because whenever you look at the Bible, they were only blessed when the whole nation turned to God, right? And so that's going to be the play, or the gist of the play on it. And then what are people going to say? It makes sense. Just like with all the killings and the 911, it makes sense to limit what guns you can have and all this stuff. But it don't make sense to me, you know, because why should you be the only one with certain guns and I get little cat guns, pop, pop, and you got guns that can annihilate? Now, me, myself, I don't have a gun or use a gun. I'm afraid of guns because I would use it, if that makes sense to you. So, I don't need a gun. God protects me. The Word tells me, and other sources tell me, that in these days, when we're sealed, and the enemy comes right like this to put a gun to your head and shoot you, he's not going to be able to kill you. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't need guns. But I still believe in people's rights, and if someone wants a gun, they should be able to have one.
Did I or did I not hear that some of these laws that are being passed or whatever, also has something to do with global warming, as in the use of vehicles and that kind of stuff, and, less on
Give that as part of the reasoning for it.
Yeah, but then on that, go ahead, Pastor.
No, okay.
I was just going to say, but now in that camp, see, always remember, there's always two sides to the coin. With that whole global warming thing, there's a whole group that says basically that's a made-up farce. There's no such thing as global warming. And so, they create things, and then you got the contrails that everyone's worried about. Things that are going on with contrails. It's so many different things, but remember, okay, you guys don't always tell you about your sales, right? Well, one of the first laws of sales is they only know what you tell them, okay? So, in other words, when I'm selling something, the customer only knows what I tell them. They don't know what the value is. I create a perceived value, okay? But they don't know what the real value of it is. It's like I always tell people, and it's not about Mercedes or anything, but take a Mercedes and take the one that you can think of as the most expensive one, $400,000, whatever that number is. That car is not any more valuable than 9 out of the 10 cars made. The only thing that makes it that is what the market will bear. Because someone paid $400,000 for it, it made it worth it. Now everybody after him is going to pay $400,000 if they want that status symbol or if they want that item. Because you create the value of what something is worth. And so, in that sense, you have to realize that we only know what the government tells us, okay? And most of what they tell you is not what it really is, you know what I'm saying? And so, we have to realize that. And so that's why we have to think for ourselves, we have to study for ourselves, because the information is out there.
I was just going to say that you have to remember, according to the word, that Satan is manipulative and he's cunning. So it's the small, subtle changes that you don't readily notice or you don't really pay attention to. Like, for instance, a calendar in the bookstore that has Monday being the first day and Sunday being the seventh day. It's those types of little small changes that America will use along with, look at what's going on with the planet, we need to come back underneath this umbrella. And see, we have this evidence right here, this is the seventh day. Because nobody notices, or nobody took the time to notice, that that calendar really says Monday is the first day and Sunday is the seventh day. It's those types of little things, and we as a people studying the Bible, wise as serpents and harmless as doves, you got to keep your eye on the small things.
That's right.
Just
So just like with that calendar and with books and things, what tends to happen, like I was mentioning about that one, what happens is you get, after periods of generations, and the people who were originally there who don't know, things are rewritten. And when they're rewritten, now what it says today is not what it said 150 years ago. If you were to pull that same exact book that's been reprinted out, and that's how the subtle changes are locked in and solidified. Like, I don't want you to lose your point, but like they did a study and they showed that, and I want to say, believe it or not, it might have been a college, but just to not embarrass college students, I'll say it was a high school. But they went, and out of like the 1,500 people they pooled, 96 or 7% knew nothing about a Hitler. They didn't know anything about a Holocaust because it's not taught like it was when I was in school. They don't, and the Diary of Anne Frank is not mandatory reading like it was when I went to school. Catcher in the Rye, certain books that you had to read, they don't have to read anymore. They have a whole new set of books a whole new set of writings that teach a whole different thing to eliminate these truths from their minds to where they don't know that it's true.
They're even pushing homosexual, like, books to kids.
Yeah.
Elementary, like, about like animals. There's penguins that are males or whatever.
And like there's a book, and I may be misquoting it, but like that, you get the gist. Johnny has 2 moms, or Johnny has 2 dads, you know, and then they're making it acceptable. So they don't read See Jane Run, Watch Skip Bounce like we do, you know. They don't read that stuff. Yes.
That's why you ought to put your kids in church school.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Amen. And now, even with that, you have to be careful too, because, you know, again, evolution and things like that are infiltrating even church schools. Simple things like, you know, well, when God created the earth, 1,000 years is as a day with God, so it wasn't a 7-day literal creation. It's 7,000 years, and all kinds of twists to the truth. Go ahead.
So like, kind of piggyback off of what she was saying. Even for us, knowing having these truths, God has given us that for us to stay a step ahead of the game.
That's right.
Because the people that are in charge, they know the Bible just like we do, and they know what's going on. They're conscious to it. So, just like your vehicles, if you notice the change in all vehicles, they have the switch. I worked at Ford Motor Company for 8 years, so I know they should put on boards, and they would tell you, they have specific language that they talk to you, and they tell you, like, they are already planning for the time of trouble. That's why all your cars that were made after like 98, I believe, have cutoff switches that you know nothing about.
Kind of like fake cars.
Now, if you notice, a lot of but if you go into your research, you'll see that the government was pushing secretly destroying older cars. That's why it's hard to find certain kind of cars that are so expensive to get them. But now they have your car, so when you're going to run, they laugh at it and they just hit the switch. Like, we already in the game.
That's right. That's right. It's huge, people. It's huge. And again, these are things that down the road we can come together as groups and do studies and research and gather the truth. Question 19, who's up? All right, I will do 19. I will do 19. How will the second beast convince people they should listen to him and deceiveth them by the means of those miracles which he had power to do? Okay? The miracles that he had power to do. We're always impressed with magic and miracles, right? And things of that nature. So he's just going to take what we're already inclined to be excited about and just add excitement.
You know, I'm laughing at that because I was saying about church school. I remember I went to a private school back in Detroit, it was SBA. And I remember being in class and them telling us, and this was from, I'm not going to put you back the name out there, telling us that the devil could not perform miracles.
Wow.
That's how we would know that he couldn't do that when it blatantly says, you know, what's going on.
That's right.
When I seen that, it just brings that back to them.
That's right. That's right. So you have to, and that's why, you know, you got to study to show yourself approved. You got to know that you know that you know, because there's going to be many winds of doctrines coming across and going out. And what Eric just pointed out is the key issue is as we look, and yeah, we're identifying this beast's power, but remember, he's got cohorts in hell, right? So basically, a lot of it's going to come from within also, from well-trusted people. There's a source that says many a bright star that you were just sure was solid is going to do what? It's just going to burn out and blow out. And then many that you thought had no stamina and couldn't go and wasn't about nothing was a Rudy Poo, is going to be the thing that's going to stand strong and firm in the last days. Everything's going to flip, guys. Everything's going to flip. That's why what we're studying right now is so important to make sure that you're on the winning team. And that's why we're here. Amen. Question 20. And you know what? I'm deliberately spending more time tonight because this is a very important topic. You know, there's a lot of these topics that we can breeze over and that we can kind of home study this and that. But a lot of the commentary and things that are coming up from everybody is important stuff that we need to know, because as you do what I requested that we do, we go out and share it with people. These are valid questions and concerns you're going to get from other people. Okay, plus it's the Sabbath, so what other thing to be doing on the Sabbath and studying God's word, right? Number 20, who's up? Go ahead, Chris. And then we're going to keep moving up forward. Chris first.
To whom will the second beast make an image? Revelations 13 and 14.
Okay, answer.
Saying that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound and did live.
All right, you know.
An image is a copy. The first beast supported false worship by the arm of the state and persecuted and killed those who refused to comply. The second beast will do the same. We see omens today of such things in the uniting of church and government leaders to enforce religious morality, to stem the tide of evil in our decaying society. Their motives are very good, but forced worship is always evil. Forced prayer in public schools and forced Sunday blue laws can be dangerous for the same reason. The second beast will utilize boycott and death threats to force people into line. Revelations 13, verses 15 through 17. The image is union of church and state with forced worship. Remember, God does not force our worship or obedience. In love, He always gives us the freedom of choice.
That's right, that's right. And then you think about it, going back real quickly to what I mentioned about the premise of why it's going to seem like a good thing to enforce Sunday worship. Then when you have people like us in this room that might be what? Sabbath keepers, who do you think is going to be the target? Who do you think is going to be the one that's going to go, see, everything would be going right if those little group, that little band right there, which is get right, then we be blessed. We're not blessed, and the plagues of God are falling on us because they won't get right, can't get right, won't get right, right? That's going to be the premise of it, right? But it's like, I'll share this with you and I'm going to move forward, because I tell you, it gets deep. But I want you to think about this, okay? And years ago, before I even know what I knew now, I wondered, it didn't make sense. But now I clearly understand that I never understood why you had to have so many Walmarts on every corner, all over. Didn't make sense. Walk into a Walmart and really look at that. That's not a button-down store like a lot of stores you go into where you have to actually get in and unbolt things and rearrange to make that something different. Walmarts are like a bunker. All they have to do is roll that stuff out and throw cops in, and when they roll the martial law, guess what? They got somewhere to put all of us.
There you go, Walmart. Barbed wire around the fence.
Definitely.
Like, four of the ones that are talking about nowhere. Like,
And they have some of them are guarded by police because they're doing something, people. That's just a tip of the iceberg of some other information, and it gets deep, people. But there's a reason why there's a Walmart on every corner, and it's not just to make shopping convenient. I can guarantee you that, people. I can guarantee you that. All right, so God's people lovingly obey. Question 21. Who's my reader?
Is that why we need to go ahead and get out of the city?
You might be right. I mean, you might not want to post up here too long. And remember, when things happen, they're going to happen rapidly. It's going to be at a breakneck pace and speed. You're just going to look up one day, and a lot of these changes and implementations are going to happen overnight also. So it's going to be an error.
Not to add to this error, if you pay attention to your street signs, when you ride by your street signs, if you start paying attention to them, look on the back of the sign, you'll see silver military stickers that are designed to let the guards know once they round us up and put us in which roads to take and which camps to send us to. They're on the back of the street signs as you ride now. They're on it. If you see them, you might see them sometimes on the freeway, on the green ones. They're over in the corner, they're silver stickers that glow. But if you do your research and you look it up, they're in every city.
Things are being put in place. You know what? Someone else was telling me this, and I was like, wow. And like, again, this isn't conspiracy theory type stuff. This ain't, oh, he's on one. You know what I mean? This is stuff that, like he said, if you do your research, you'll find out. Now, I don't know about out here in Phoenix. I haven't seen too many. But I know back home in California, on your highways, I don't know if you've noticed that they have big concrete walls that go all the way up, like 20 feet, 25 feet, I don't know, some outrageous number, I'm not good with math. But the point is, as people pointed out, when you're trying to make your exit, and you're trying to go, and they shut the cars down, like he said, and now you're stranded on the freeway, second nature says, I'm just going to get out and make a break for it. Where can you break when you can't climb the walls? You're quarantined, you're cattled, you're hurting. You're hurting. I'm telling you, it gets deep. All right? But the thing is, it's not for fear, it's for knowledge, because when I used to watch G.I. Joe, he said, knowing is half the battle. Right? Knowing is half the battle. If I know what to watch out for, right? Does that make sense? All right. It gets deep, people. 21. What did the disciples say about whether we should obey God or man? We ought to obey God rather than man. Amen? And Jesus said, in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of who, people? Men. I'm going to move forward so we can get out of here tonight. 22. What can I do to make certain I will not receive the mark of the beast? Because that's what we're here for tonight. Your answer is to keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Revelation 14:9-11 warns against receiving the mark of the beast. Verse 12 tells what the victorious saints do to avoid the mark. They keep God's commandments and have Jesus' faith. Praise God, it is Jesus' faith that makes the miracle of commandment keeping possible. My faith in Jesus' indwelling presence is the key. Jesus fulfills God's commands in me by his miracle working power. Victory is obtainable, folks. All right, God's last warning message. We've studied the three angels' message, Revelation 14:6-12, and it includes what? Worship the Creator. Avoid receiving the mark of the beast. And under that note, worship of the Creator, which means I keep the sign or mark of his creatorship, his Sabbath. For emphasis, verse 7 even quotes part of the Sabbath commandment, made heaven and earth and the sea. Okay, B, do not receive the mark of the beast, which means I must not accept and receive the devil's counterfeit sign of Sunday sacredness. It is God who gives us these two solemn warnings, and what could be more sobering? Satan, who hates God, asks for my allegiance through the adoption of his mark. Jesus, my Savior, asks for my allegiance through the adoption of his sign and mark. It falls to the point of who will we obey? 23. Okay. Is it now clear to you that a person who receives the mark of the beast is lost? Are they lost because they receive a mark? Or are they lost because they're rebellious, refuse to change, and accept Jesus' offer? Which is the reason? Okay. All right, so 24. When you decide to accept Jesus and fully follow him, what happens? Ye shall find rest to your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light, right? So that's another reason why with all this stuff we're talking about, all these things that are going to go down, if we're in Jesus, we can be at rest because he says through all these times, our bread and our water will be what? Sure. And though don't be afraid of the arrow that flies by day or the terror by night, read Psalm 91. It'll give you a lot of confidence for the times that are ahead of us. Amen? Amen. All right, 25. Jesus is waiting at the door of your heart for your answer. Will you decide now to receive his glorious sign as evidence that you accept him as your blessed Redeemer? And hopefully everyone's answer there is yes. All right? Now what we'll do is we will get ready for the quiz. But before we do that, let's have a word of prayer. Just bow your heads, please. And I'm going to pray. Father, we have studied your word. It seems very clear. You are talking to us through your Holy Spirit and in our hearts. We want to do your will, Lord. Please, Heavenly Father, we love you, and we just now ask for your forgiveness for every selfish thing in our lives. And we ask that you would help us to surrender to you and ask for your guidance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Thank you for bearing with me tonight. I know we went a little longer, but very crucial points and things that we need to know in these last days, especially in the middle of September 23rd and some other things that are coming down the pipe. Quiz questions are real quick and easy, yes or no answers. One, sin causes many to receive the mark of the beast and the mark of the sign of royalty. Is that true or is that false? Okay, question 2, the mark of the beast is already placed upon many people. True or false? All right. Number 1, Satan causes many to receive the mark of the beast, and the mark is a sign of loyalty to him. And then 2, the mark of the beast is already placed upon many people. Number 3, when the law forces a person to stop buying and selling unless he has the mark of the beast's mark is then received by many. And 4, God's wrath is upon those who receive the mark of the beast. All right, 5, the wrath of the beast is upon those who receive the seal of God in their foreheads. All right, number 1. Satan causes many to receive the mark of the beast, and the mark is a sign of loyalty to him. True or false? Or yes. They're saying yes or no. We'll say yes. Number 2, the mark of the beast is already placed upon many people. No one has the mark of the beast. 3, when the law forces a person to stop buying and selling unless he has the mark of the beast's mark is then received by many. Yes. Number 4, God's wrath is upon those who receive the mark of the beast. Yes. And number 5, the wrath of the beast is upon those who receive the seal of God in their foreheads. Yes. Because there is a great controversy going on, right? Okay. Response questions up top. If you understand what the mark of the beast means now and see why God placed these delicate issues in signs and symbols, put an X in box number 1. That's why it's in code in prophecy, because it pinpoints exactly the enemies of God. And you know, if you've ever seen spy or espionage movies, whenever they want to pass a note or a message right under the enemy, they put it in code, right? And it goes right by undetected. 2, if you agree that you have never been more sure and want to be loyal to his word and follow in his ways, put an X in box number 2. If you just want to be loyal to God, is basically what that's saying. Number 3, I desire to follow Jesus all the way by joining his last day church and receiving the seal of the living God. I desire the rest that comes from surrendering fully to his revealed will, because I want someday to hear the Master's voice say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord," and pray for me. This statement is true.